Hello and welcome to Knit.Purl.Repeat. My name is Jess and I'm coming to you from Southwest Florida. This channel is mainly about knitting, but there'll be some spinning, crochet, and sewing on occasion. So if you'd like to join me for a chat, grab a project and get comfortable. This is episode 12. Hello and welcome back. If this is your first time joining me here, you're so very welcome, and I appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to sit down and chat with me about knitting. There will be only knitting in this episode. I do have some spinning content, but it's a hand spun that I received, not one that I made. Let's see, what's today? Today is Thursday, January 30th, 2025. And for those of you joining for the first time, you will find all the links to my accounts in other platforms, and anything I talk about today should be linked in the description box for this episode, or wherever there's the down arrow or it says more, you should find it there. If I'm missing something or the other sites are not accessible to you, then just drop me a comment in the comment box below or send me a message and I'll be happy to add it in or give you whatever it is I left out. It's very likely that something may have been left out. So I don't know where you are, but here in Southwest Florida, we've gone back to a kind of typical winter. So the type that people move here to or come during the winter time. And so it's been really nice, up in the upper 70s, dry and sunny during the day, and then cooling down to the 50s at night. So perfect weather. We had a long stretch of just above freezing to really cold temperatures for weeks on end, and then days of cold and rain and gray, which is not typical for us to have that often. So it's been some very strange weather this winter, but it's given me a chance to take out all kinds of different woolly goodness from my closet and get myself to cast some more on. So we'll talk about some of those a little bit later. All right, we're going to try this again. I am experiencing technical difficulties and blood sugar difficulties. I had to stop. So I will be inserting some footage of me wearing some items that I'm not wearing now because this is just how it has to be. But I will hold them up as well as I talk about them. Sorry, now I have some fluff. So up first was my cat number 1 from 2024. This was the first pattern as part of the Knit Along series of patterns that Pia Trans has published. So I've talked about the knit-a-thons before, and there might be one coming up in March. Normally Pia runs these twice a year, and so she's done them for the last couple of years where it's just very informal. You get together, chat, knit over 24 hours, watching different contributors on YouTube, sharing stuff over that 24-hour period. So just a chance to, instead of sitting by yourself, you get to interact with other people around the world, and it's a lot of fun. So this pattern was the way that I became aware of Pia. So Pia had posted a photo on Instagram wearing this sweater. And at that time, her handle was 50 Fabulous. I had just turned 50, I think like the month before I saw this photo. It was in this beautiful pattern in a beautiful shade of the gray. I loved it and I wanted to make it. And so that's how I found her as a designer. She also has a YouTube channel, one in Danish and one in English. She's now Traveling Miss Knits is what she's known as, and I will link her below. It did take me 2 years to make this sweater, but to get the yarns, whatever, for it to work out. And I'm so glad I did. So you'll have seen me modeling it. It is a short sleeve pattern. You do start at the top and then you work down. I had knit down until I ran out of yarn in the body, and then I went back and picked up and finished the sleeves, and then went back and finished the body. I think I did a tubular sewn bind off on the sleeves here, an Italian sewn bind off, which I really love. Whoops, my ends are sticking out. And I don't know, I did whatever she said in the pattern for, it looks like I did the Italian cast on for, or I'm sorry, the tubular cast on for the neck. There are some increases. You have this nice design on the top, and then you start working this beautiful yoke texture. You can see that there. I did omit one last row of texture that I just didn't feel like I wanted to do. I think I didn't feel like I was doing these right, and they weren't looking great, so I just left it out. At least I think I did. So what is this yarn? This is a DK yarn that is 80% merino, 20% silk, and it's from World of Wool. It's their marble DK in the color Pinecone, number 15. And it's this warm cocoa-y brown shade with little bits of flecks in there. You can see a little bit of the sheen from the silk. It's very cozy. It is DK weight, so I don't tend to wear it often, as I've realized that if I have something that's DK weight, I kind of want sleeves. So if it had been fingering weight, it would have probably been better for me. Just for where I live, it's not hitting quite that right spot. Although for the office, this actually works out really well. So when I'm teaching, I'm warm, but I'm not overly hot. So it does work well for that. At the bottom, my notes say that I just wanted to make it, you do have, wear it now because it's taken so long. You do the ribbing, and then you just do some knitting, and so you get this little rolled hem. I bound off just using a stretchy bind off, so it wouldn't be too tight, instead of doing the Italian sewn bind off. And I think it looks really good. So I really love this pattern. I would make it again. I doubt I will make it again unless I work it out to be fingering weight. But as I'll talk about in a minute, I think in the future, when I'm making knitted items like this, I'd rather make them fingering weight with sleeves, or at least if it's DK weight, sleeves, so it's more like a full sweater, if that's the case. So I could just knit these with long sleeves, and then it'd be perfect. So yeah, maybe in the future. So would I make it again? Yes, definitely. I mean, the instructions were really well done. It was easy to follow. I really love the fit. It's probably a little loose. So that's me. I've got a few mini stitches here, so I would have to adjust that size, but I would definitely make it again. All right, up next is one of my two finished objects. And again, I'm going to put some footage of me wearing it up here because it's just not the right space for it. It looks a bit weird on camera. I did try earlier. And it is the Cascade tank top. So I am going to hold it up for you. I know it's not the best way to do it. That is not the color. It is this kind of, maybe that color green. Anyway, you probably get the point. But hopefully you saw in the video, oh, it's inside out when I took it off. It is, what brought me to make this was this texture here along the top, and it's not this bright green. It is a very pale yellowish green, and the way that comes down over the chest. All the edges, as you work them, you have I-cord edges, so it's all finished as you go. There's no finishing. There is picking up, working down, picking up, working down, picking up, make the back, get it all together, work itself down. So you can have a lot of little ends up here to have to cut off, but it's not bad. Once you get to this section, you can choose to knit it right side out, which means that you purl and then knit through the back loop, or you can work it inside out down the rest of the body, where you then knit and then purl through the back loop. I do not like to purl through the back loop, so I chose to work purls and then knit through the back loop all the way down, And this is why it was stuck since May of last year. I didn't take it on our travels, June and July, because the yarn kept turning my hands green, even though I washed it several times. So I just left it at home, and then I got sidetracked. And then it was boring, really, honestly, right? I just didn't feel like doing this all the way down with fingering weight yarn. So this is fingering weight yarn, knit on 3mm needles. So, you know, I think I got tired after this, or I was doing, I don't know, just it went to the side. But I did finish it. I picked up, was like, let's get it done. I think I finally needed just some round and round knitting, and it was just the right time. And so I finished it. In the bottom, you just convert it from this pattern into 1x1 twisted, half twisted rib. And then I just bound off with a stretchy bind off. And yeah, I really like it. It is superwash wool, so I'm not likely to wear it during the summer unless I'm staying in air conditioning. But I would definitely wear it. It's just probably something I won't wear to work because it is a little too low, and it does, to get to fit right, it does come down a little too low on the sides, which I was a bit not really concerned about, but looking at. You could wear another camisole underneath it. A cardigan over it is okay, except that then you're covering up this beautiful texture up here at the top, which is really what sold it for me. So I will wear it. Will I make it again? I don't know. Maybe if I could tweak the depth more and still be able to get this nice shape at the top, if I can work that out, then maybe I would do it again. I probably would try it out in something like a silk or linen blend instead, so it would not only drape but be cooler, so then I could wear it during the warmer months. So again, that's the Cascade tank top by Lene, and I will link that in the description box. Finished object number 2 is a gnome, and it is Gnedward. So Gnedward is made out of my leftovers from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers sock squad from January this year. So I used the main color for his body and his arms, and I used the contrast color for his hat and his feet. I had scraps of other wools. So this is a Shetland wool, and this is another Shetland wool that I used for the beard and the face and hands. Sarah's beard is a bit narrower and smaller in her gnome in the image. Sorry, did I mention this is Sarah Schira Imagine Landscapes? If not, that's who the pattern is by. She has you go up a needle size to work the beard. And so mine came out a little bit larger, so I probably just need to stick with the original needles I used for the body, but that's okay. He's got a nice big beard. I like it. I did try out, audition several beards. I did knit 3 beards, different colors, but this one showed up the best. The other 2 were too similar to the colors here in tone, so it didn't stand out. So that is Gnedward, and he is a chunky little dude. I used yarn scraps as the stuffing, and then I put pebbles in the lower half where she tells you to fill it. And then I put a cut off toe from a sock project that I ripped out. I just laid it flat and put it underneath the pebbles before closing up for the bottom. So that's my first gnome of 2025. So that moves us on to works in progress. I think I was in shock after finishing 3 projects, the socks, the tank top, the gnome, and I couldn't settle on something else. I don't know if that ever happens to you where you're just like, I don't really know what I want to do. Like even casting on or whips, nothing. I just felt kind of lost. So I did some winding up of yarn. I did some inventory. I think I did a bunch of just other things. And all right, just take a break from it all. And then I saw in my email that Nancy Wheeler in the test group put out a call for test knitters for a new sock pattern. And since I was between socks, because I had to wait for the February yarn to arrive from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers, I thought, oh, yes, please. I'd like to test that sock pattern. And of course, you know how I feel about Nancy's patterns. So I thought, yes, let's do it. And so Nancy was nice enough to let me into the group and test for her. So it's not a secret test. Nancy said we can go ahead and share and talk about it. Obviously, I'm not going to give you details of the pattern. It should be released later in February, I believe. It is a cuff down sock where you have the choice from 6 different charts of knitting columns of these textured stitches down your sock. So Nancy has written the pattern specifically where to place the columns, but you could of course put as many or little or whatever you want to do. Mix and match, however you want to do it. So because I had this really highly variegated yarn with dark colors, it was more of a play to see, ooh, how would these charts look on different colors on different socks. Nancy's are that she had made so far are all self-striping yarns. So I was curious to see what would show up in here. So there's some cables, some lace, and some textured patterns. I tried a couple of the lace charts and I just didn't care for how they looked with this yarn. So I ripped back to the cuff and then chose 2 other charts, and I chose to do the textured columns up the sides. If you can see that there, some knits and purls. And then across the back of the leg, I did one of the cabled patterns. Pull it out. I think I actually like it just like that, but when you wear it, of course, you'll see this little spine up the back. So I thought that would be kind of cool because this is the yarn from 3 by the Sea Designs, which is a local to me yarn dyer, yarn and notions company. This was their Hocus Pocus colorway, so their mystery sock set from last October. So it came with this purple contrast colored mini. And so that's what I'm making here on the 72 stitch size, if I didn't say that before. So I am on the foot of sock number 1, and I'm going to make these as a gift for a friend whose birthday was this month, and I haven't got her a pair of socks for a very long time. So I think these would be a great gift for her. So that's what's going on right now. Wait till you see all the pattern testers examples. I love it. I love the different yarns, where people put the columns, which ones they chose. So keep an eye out for that. I think Nancy just released the Wiget socks pattern. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out on her Instagram site, channel, page, and also on her YouTube channel here. I haven't watched her latest one yet, so she might be talking about that there. I didn't do my research. Sorry, Nancy. So that was my latest cast on. Oh, and then at night, I decided to do a late night cast on of the grid Gambit. So it's a pattern by Samantha Guerin. I had waited to cast this on because I needed the hand spun yarn that my hand spun yarn exchange partner was sending to me. That arrived, I think it was Saturday. And I'll put a picture up here of the 2 hanks of hand spun yarn she sent me, which are beautiful. The pink one is BFL, excuse me. And the multicolored one, she said, is a mix of all kinds of breeds. There were leftovers that she just mixed and played and put them all together, which I think was so fun. So I went for the multicolored one, and I was looking for a main color to go with it. I had the choice of a golden yellow, purple that was hand dyed by me, and a teal green. So I thought at first this purple one, so I'll put that mix up here, because I thought that purple would really make that color pop in there. It could be gorgeous. But when I tried to wind up that yarn, my purple yarn, which I dyed with Cochineal, I did solar dyeing a couple years ago, and it turned out purple because of our water chemistry here, which I thought was really cool, instead of red. Anyway, I thought that when I started to wind it up, it's tangled. And so I thought, well, I just don't want to deal with it right now. And I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go that bold. So I thought late at night, I was watching another TV series on Apple TV Plus. called, Bad Sisters. So I was watching that and thought, hey, let's cast on a new project. So I did. So I chose the teal, and this is how far I got on it. Oops, sorry, I'm all tangled up now. There we go. So there it is. So you start at the bottom, and then you're increasing on one edge, and the other edge is like an I-cord edge. I'm not even showing you, I'm looking at the back. I am sorry. So you can start to see this, grid pattern coming out. Look how beautiful that is, standing out, and really can see the contrast back here. So currently, this is what the ball of yarn looks like. So it's definitely thick and thin, right? So I'm just having a play with it and seeing how it looks as we work on here. That's one great thing about this kind of pattern is if you have some hand spun yarn and you're not sure what can I knit with it, if you even want to knit with it, something like this is really great, really forgiving. So I'm working on US 7s. I can't remember what millimeters that is. I'll put it up here. These are some wood tips from Knit Picks. I don't really recommend them because they break, and they've broken several times. They snap off right here. They're like a lacquered wood or something, and they're squared. So I haven't really been a great fan of that for that reason, and also because of the plastic cords. But this is only 24 inches tip to tip, so they're perfect for this project. Normally I would go up a size needle for the pattern needle if I'm using wood, because I tend to knit tighter with the wood, but I'm just going really relaxed with it, letting the yarns do their thing. And that way too, it keeps my hands from getting too tired working with these thicker yarns. Later on, some of the colors that are coming up, because I was trying to wind it and some of it broke because I think I was pulling it too tight with the ball winder. This bit came next, so I started to do it. They just came off in sections, so I'm not sure why, if they broke or what happened there. So I started to wind it more by hand. So these are in this order. This purple little one will be next, then this blue and green again, then back to this one. So I'm excited to see how this is all going to play out as I knit along. And it's a very nicely written pattern. It is charted and it has written instructions. So either one. So again, that's the Grid Gambit by Samantha Guerin. There's a knit along going on right now until March. I don't know if I'll finish by then or not, but I'm really enjoying just picking it up now and then at night and just working on it and just playing with it, being very free with it. And that's really all I've been working on right now. I did just get my February sock set from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I'm not going to show it to you because it is January 30th and people may not have got theirs. There have been lots of storms in this country delaying shipments. And if you're international, then you're probably going to have it delayed. But I will show you, those who don't have it, just the inspiration page from the calendar. So this is the inspiration for this month, for February. And those of you who have this set, this subscription, but don't have the yarn yet, if you were happy with the inspiration from January, what the yarn looked like, it's spot on again for February. That's all I'm going to say. So there you go. So now I just have to pick some sock patterns. I think I have some in mind, but I don't want to talk about them yet because that might clue people into the nature of the yarn. But that'll be something coming up then in February. So I'll have to wait a couple days anyway. Try to choose what patterns I have that I really want to work with this yarn that we just received. The other plan I have coming up, I want to do before I go travel this summer, is I want to extend the length of my tessellated vest. So this is the tessellated vest, a pattern by Andrea Mowry. And that's what it looks like up close. So I made this for the New York Sheep and Wool Festival in 2023, which is the first time I went. I had no plans to make this, but the pattern came out and I thought, oh, well, maybe, let me see what's in my stash. And I had yarns in my stash. And so, okay, I'll make it. What's nice about being the vest is I was able to finish it before New York Sheep and Wool. So I used John Arbon Textiles Yarnadelic in this tealy green color. I had some Queensland collection color changing yarn, and then I had this floof, Alpaca Suri floof in here. But so it's cropped, but it's a little too cropped. So I think what I'm going to do, even though this was, and even though I extended it a bit, this is knit bottom up. So I think what I might do is, I don't really want to knit down because then it's always off a bit. I think I might just cast on. I still have some of the yarn here. It might be better for me to actually just pick it up, cut it off, and then knit it and graft it together. That way you shouldn't see it as well, because I'll have to get rid of that cast on edge. But anyway, that's a plan. Hopefully I can get it done, because this would be a great one to take traveling for that nice layering piece and to be able to wear it more often. The other upcoming plan I have is I have put some things I talked about last time on hold because of plans for the summer, upcoming things where I want certain articles of clothing, knitwear to take with me. I've realized that sweaters, when I want to wear a sweater, either, like I said, I want it to be that big DK sweatshirty type of thing, like the Easy V, or I want it to be lightweight, fingering weight, but with longer sleeves, like the Zweig. So both of those are patterns by Kaitlin Hunter. So, or something like the Wilfrida, but not with mohair, because I get too prickly itchy with mohair. But I was thinking I would make another Zweig or another Wilfrida, which I probably will at some point. But I've had the Misurina pattern, also by Kaitlin Hunter, in my queue for a very long time. Just kind of waiting, trying yarns that didn't work out. I didn't like, whatever the reason, it just didn't happen. And then I got inspired to look at it again when I watched the Grocery Girls, one of their recent episodes or podcasts, and Jody was wearing one that was black with the cream or white for the motif, and I absolutely love that contrast. Just like the Alpine Bloom hat I talked about last week that I'm going to be knitting, that black and white, that stark contrast with the black and the white, or like natural color wools, I just love it. So I don't have that yarn color for the hat or for the sweater, but I do have some Yarnadelic in a dark red color. I'll put it up here. And I have 3 skeins of it, even though one of them is a different lot number. All the lot numbers and that kind of print has rubbed off the little tag that was on the skein, so I don't know which is which. So I'm gonna have to use my camera, see if I can figure out which 2 go together and which one doesn't go with them, so that I can mix it. But I am planning to do the Misurina in that as a main color, and then I'm probably going to do a black for the motif because I like that stark contrast. I have a dark gray, but I think I want the bold contrast with that black. And then I'm going to just do long sleeves, so I can still have my Misurina, but make it a long sleeved project. Because there's another one of Kaitlin Hunter's patterns that I wanted to make for New York Sheep and Wool this fall. Same weight, very graphic. I want that high contrast with like a black and a cream. So, but I don't have any of those yarns, and I'm not buying any right now. So maybe this summer when I'm traveling around places, I can find some at a yarn shop, right? That'd be great. Anyway, that's my upcoming plans, is to make a Misurina with long sleeves for myself to have for travel or just whenever. Right. So that's it for this week. I hope that you find some time to do some crafting, whatever your craft is. And until I see you next week, take care. Bye.